It's the Catholic Church. Most people know about the Catholic Church, but this is a little combination video of just a whole bunch of stories from all over the place.
Responding to criticism from tech billionaire Elon Musk, Sir Keir Starmer defended his time as Director of Public Prosecutions before labelling calls for a national inquiry into grooming gangs as far right.
It is something about the nature of our politics, because once we lose the anchor that truth matters in the robust debate we must have, then we're on a very slippery slope, calling for inquiries because they want to jump on a bandwagon of the far right.
It looks like paedophiles are treated better than people who write nasty things on the internet. And I say that because a convicted child rapist has escaped jail for a second time because our prisons are too overcrowded.
This leader of the opposition, a former Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Speaker, he spent most of his time prosecuting journalists and failing to prosecute Jimmy Savile, as far as I can make out, Mr. Speaker.
Jimmy Savile was an eccentric TV host, disc jockey and charity fundraiser who was effectively the BBC's most famous TV personality in the 1970s and 80s. He dined with the then Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, and he was knighted for his services to charity too. When he died last year, the age of 84, he was conveyed in a gold coffin through the streets of his hometown in northern England.
Back then, I thought it was simple. We just had to get the evidence to catch him. I didn't realise the whole world around him had to change before the truth could come out.
Police were also investigating, and in November 2012, announced allegations of abuse on a, quote, staggering and unprecedented scale.
The Metropolitan Police is coordinating a vast inquiry, looking into more than 450 allegations of abuse.
From 1955 to 2009, Savile assaulted 450 people, many of them very young.
We have breaking news this morning from France, where an investigation has found a horrifying number of abuse cases linked to the Roman Catholic Church.
Now, a Catholic bishop who was forced by the Vatican to leave Belgium after admitting sexually abusing his 5-year-old nephew has sparked outrage by going on live television and saying it was nothing serious, just a game.
The 2-year investigation lays out in graphic detail allegations against more than 300 priests, involving more than 1,000 children.
Above all else, they protected their institution at all cost.
But for all the report reveals, there is still much hidden. The names of more than 24 current and former clergy are redacted as they challenge the findings in court. The stories of survivors and the details of the 884-page grand jury report are difficult to hear.
Father Robert Maussener groomed his middle school students for oral sex by telling them how Mary had to lick Jesus clean after he was born.
The French church may be trying to restore trust, but doing so won't be easy. The institution has been widely criticized in recent months for failing to address and even covering up pedophilia cases over decades.
Yet the country's former bishop and Nobel Peace Prize winner is accused of multiple rapes and sexual assaults, this time on young boys.
The number is hard to fathom. More than 200,000 victims in 7 decades, abused by clergy in the French Catholic Church.
More than 150 Catholic priests and others associated with the Archdiocese of Baltimore sexually abused over 600 children.
Well, the shocking inquiry found an estimated 216,000 child sex abuse victims at the hands of French clergy.
In Pennsylvania, a new grand jury report has revealed how more than 300 Catholic priests sexually abused 1,000 children and possibly thousands more over 7 decades, and that the church leadership covered up the abuse.
Newcastle Maitland has 400 known victims of child sexual abuse by clergy.
It is clear that the church valued the denials of the abusers over the claims, the complaints, the credibility of the abused. There's no doubt about that.
Not the Catholic Church, not all over the United States. Matter of fact, if you got Netflix has a documentary about the one up in Baltimore. Sure does. They killed the lady. And they waited to let any kind of documentary or anything come out about it until the priest was, they died. Natural causes. You got to live a full life, though. But not all the people that he did those things to. So in your hope that you have now, everybody's praying for him. We need to save his life. I hope he stays alive long enough to get prosecuted for what he's done.